gassy lately. I've been having to take fiber supplements every morning. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, hi guys. Welcome back to another episode of A Literary Tasting. My name is Jessica.
My name is Annie.
And every week we have a drink, we read a book, we complain. I did get us champagne for the drink that we're reading today, which would have been so apt.
Yeah.
Because it's a very glamorous book. And then I left it at my house.
You know, things happen. It's okay.
Being an influencer, the thing is like nobody tells you how hard it's gonna be.
Right.
Try being an influencer for a day. Try it. So, but if I was gonna pick, I mean, that seems like a pretty obvious pick, is champagne to go with this book.
I would say the other obvious pick is like a cigarette. But I don't smoke those, and I don't smoke inside.
Yeah, half a grapefruit and a cigarette, yeah.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
I don't smoke either. I kind of think about it, though, regularly. I'm like, because I would look so cunt standing outside the bar with a little cigarette.
You know what? The other day, literally a couple of days ago, I texted one of our friends, and I was like, I was having an awful day, and I was like, I really understand why people smoke cigarettes right now.
No, it's like that one time I texted saying I could really use a salt and vinegar chip right now.
Yeah, it's equivalent.
Yeah.
Okay, the book that we are reading. The book we are reading today, The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. Okay, sorry I did that. Yeah, but this is what we read today. If you guys have read this book, you know.
I've actually never held a copy of this in my hands.
Really?
I've read it twice and I've listened to it on audiobook. I have never held a physical copy of it.
I mean, I went to the bookstore yesterday and I saw it and I was like, you're coming home with me. Like, that book was so good.
This is a beautiful cover.
Very,
I'm gonna
very
be sad
nice.
when they change it.
They're changing? Oh, when they make the movie?
There should be a movie coming soon.
Well, allegedly. So, we're gonna get right into it.
I must say, I love historical fiction, and Taylor Jenkins Reid, I just feel like, does it so well.
Yeah.
I love her. If it's written by Taylor Jenkins Reid, I've read it. I'm gonna read it, and I've read it. Same with Hannah Grace, not to bring her up again, but where is she?
We bring her up every episode, and we will continue to do so.
I love her. I need an advanced reader copy real bad.
Yeah. But the thing is, okay, the thing with this book, however, I will say, like, everyone has been talking about this for, like, the past 5 years, right? Mm-hmm. I don't know, I never felt the need to go pick it up. I don't know if it's, like, maybe about, because there's, like, a human person on the cover of this. Sometimes that kind of turns me off.
I feel like the cover, I know I just said 2 seconds ago, what a great cover. Because it is a great cover when you think about it in context, but I can see why you would look at this and be like, eh.
Yeah, it's just more so, like, I don't usually pick up when I see, like, a person on the cover, like a photograph. I don't know why. But I'm so happy we read this. It was, we'll get into it. We'll talk about it.
First, some trigger warnings, though. Homophobia, abuse, death of a parent, alcoholism, and we'll probably talk about eating disorders and how they affect women very lightly. Probably nothing too crazy if we even touch on it, but I wanted to mention it just in case that would be triggering for anybody. Anything else?
No, I think you covered everything.
All right. And not a trigger warning, but remember, we spoil the whole book.
Yeah, the whole thing. If you haven't read this, pause. Actually,
go read it.
Put it on low volume and keep playing. Go read it and come back.
Make sure you're at least watching to the 30-minute mark, please. Then go read it.
Period. So let's get into our fan castings.
Yes. I didn't have anybody for Evelyn. I feel like she also, it's tricky because she is a blonde Cuban woman.
Yeah.
So I hope they do her justice when they cast her. I hope they don't just cast a blonde woman. I hope they cast, like, a Cuban person, hopefully.
Yeah.
I didn't really have anybody for her. I think, like, remember when you say, you know how you always say in all our other episodes, how, like, sometimes the men are just too gorgeous that it's like you actually can't think of anybody that matches up to that? That's how I feel about her.
Yeah, I was struggling to find someone for her too. I landed on Ana de Armas, because, I mean, she's stunning. I think she's also Cuban, and I've seen her with a blonde...
A blonde wig. We love those here.
A blonde head of hair dyed. So, you know, I was like, that makes sense. And she's also, like, outrageously beautiful.
Yeah.
But yeah, for a good majority of this, I was like, I can't. And that's the same way I felt about Celia. Yeah. I didn't cast anyone for her because I just could not come up with someone.
Yeah. I mean, I said Bryce Dallas Howard, but that, like, kind of seems like an easy pick. Yeah. And then I'm pretty sure she's had to come out and say, I'm not in that movie. I'm pretty sure she had to go on Instagram and be like,
leave me alone.
They didn't call me. I don't know if they didn't call her, but I know that she's not in the movie. So, or hopefully I'm wrong. Maybe I'll be wrong. But she does seem...
That's a good one.
I don't know. But then, of course, Harry Cameron, who we'll get into later. Evelyn and Celia are our two main characters. The romance happens between them mostly. And then Harry is her friend. Girl, I was picturing Harry Styles.
Okay, the thing...
Frankly, any opportunity to picture Harry Styles...
I'm taking it.
Yeah.
I'm grabbing it by the horns. The thing is, with this book too, like, it goes over, like, a lifespan, basically. Yeah. So it's, like, hard to, like... pick. I feel like I was like seeing people at certain ages for them, but then at other times not seeing anyone. Like for Celia, I was seeing the actress who plays President Coin in Hunger Games. She's actually a redhead.
That's a really good one.
Thank you. So I was seeing her like near the end of the book.
Yeah. In that wig too.
Yeah. No, not in that wig. She's actually a redhead.
Well, she probably had gray hair by then.
Yeah, she probably did. But I don't know if I'd see her in a black bob. I don't know if she's in a fuck-ass bob.
That's true.
But...
that bob was very fuck-ass.
It was so
fuck-ass. You can't do a side part on a bob. And bobs need to be middle part.
Especially with that length. It was such an awkward length for a bob. Like, it was a little bit too long.
That's not a bob anymore.
That's just a haircut. Anyways, that's a Robert. But so for Harry, I was picturing him a little bit older, and I was like maybe 40s age, and I pictured Scott Foley. Now, if you've seen Scandal, he plays Jake Ballard, like the other love interest of the main character.
Surprisingly, I've never seen that.
That show is so fucking good. I mean, it's so fuck ass, but it is so fucking good. So good.
I mean, we all know I love a fuck ass show. I've seen Pretty Little Liars like 18 times.
Listen.
And every time I get a now we're just getting off topic.
Right.
But every time I see a Pretty Little Liars edit on my For You page, which is daily, I'm like, I should go back and watch it. And I'm like, no, because I've seen season 1 72 times.
I've seen season 2 700 times.
I always stop watching after like 3 seasons because it's like, there's just too much.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, oh, I want to watch what I haven't seen, but you can't.
Yeah.
It's a vicious cycle.
It really is, and I've been there with you. I mean, we did that not like 3 months ago.
Try being an influencer for a fucking day.
But yeah, I
don't know how Mike's Mike did it.
Let me show you a photo. Bye. Let me show you a photo of Scott Foley. I just feel like he has such a very like old Hollywood like kind of, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Imagine him in like a suit.
Yeah, or like Henry Cavill, or like really any white man.
Yeah, but I immediately landed on him. I casted someone for Monique also, and I casted Natalie Emmanuel. She was in Game of Thrones. She played Missandei. I can't remember her name. I'll show you.
Talk about another fuck ass show.
I love Game of Thrones.
It's still kind of fuck ass though.
I don't know if I'd still call it fuck ass. That is real genuine television. I mean, okay, the last season was very fuck ass. The last season was extremely fuck ass. Her.
Yeah, she's cute. Yeah, that's a good pick.
Right? Mm-hmm. Period. Mm-hmm. Period. Did you cast anyone for her, or were you like, nah?
No, I actually totally forgot she was a part of it until just now.
Oh.
Didn't even think to write her down for the fan casting. My bad.
LMFAO.
Sorry, Monique.
Sorry, Monique.
I was really focused on the one fan casting that I did have, and that was Harry Styles. I was like, that's all I have to say.
The episode is called Harry Styles in a biopic.
Taylor Jenkins Reid, get Harry Styles on the phone now.
That would actually change my life. Anyways, let's get into it.
Yeah, I don't even want to know, like, the liquids that would be coming out of me. Anyways, yeah, so some background info. I'm just going to skip forward just a little bit. Monique is interviewing Evelyn because Evelyn is selling all her gowns and donating them to charity because she's dying because she's old. And she contacts Vivant and she's like, I want Monique. And I don't gaff what you guys have to say about it because Monique's gonna write the piece.
Yeah.
And her boss is like, well, we have like other writers, and she's like, no.
She's like, but I don't want to. She's like a fuck ass intern. Like I don't really.
And Evelyn's like, do you want the piece or not?
No, she's like, I'm not doing it unless you give me Monique.
So there's also, and even Monique is confused because Monique is like, I've been working for Vivant for like not that long. I've mostly write like puff pieces. Like it's not anything, like I don't even like my writing at this place because it's not anything that I actually want to do.
Yeah.
But we did find out she did write, I do not know what the medical terminology for this is. This might be right, it could be wrong. I don't know. She did write a piece on euthanasia and like why it's right or something like that. I don't know. Probably gonna have to cut that. She wrote a piece on euthanasia and why she thinks it's humane.
Oh, you mean assisted suicide?
Yeah, she wrote a piece on that, and it will come back kind of later, but why she thinks it's right.
I mean, yeah, there's different schools of thought on that, but she wrote a piece about, you know, it's humane in some ways, and everyone has their own thoughts about that. Anyway,
we're not going there.
We're not going there. Yeah, we're not going there.
We don't even know what
it's called. We keep it nice, late, and bright in here. We don't even know what it's called, that part. Yeah.
So I've broken up our sections here into basically the same way the book is set up, which is all the different husbands, because there's 7
Well, she got 7 of them.
Yeah.
So.
And you know what's crazy? I haven't had a boyfriend in 6 years. So, and, you know, it's not like my boobs are small. So what's the issue?
So what's happening? I would liken myself to Evelyn.
I know that I don't have
seriously.
an Oscar.
But I do have a rack.
Yeah. So
it's not really making sense. However, she somehow bags 7 different husbands.
I couldn't.
That would never be me, regardless.
But Evelyn's story begins with her mom passing away very early on in the book, and her dad is abusive, and she's like, I gotta get the fuck out of Hell's Kitchen, where she's from. She's like, how the fuck am I gonna get out of here? She finds out that one of her neighbors, Ernie Diaz, is moving to Los Angeles, and she's like, this is my ticket the fuck out of here.
So I'm gonna hitch a ride.
Yeah, period. And so she, of course, one thing I love about this book is that she's showing, it's a sort of empowerment of how stupid men can be the second you take out your breasts.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, and she's only 17, and I think she's 16.
She's 16.
And her dad signs the papers, and her and Ernie get married, and she moves to Los Angeles.
He folds like a fucking chair the moment she comes around him. Doesn't
she's
gas
16,
that she's a minor.
You wackadoodle.
Right. Doesn't care that she's a minor. Doesn't care at all. He's like, she's stunning. Yes, she can be stunning and be 16. Doesn't mean you need to be
I'm not marrying
involved with her. Ever.
I'm not looking at her chest. I'm not marrying her.
No,
none of that.
No.
I'm gonna say, wow, I wish I looked like that at 16 and move on.
Yeah. Quite literally. But you're right. It is very much like, I feel like it's a theme throughout the entire book. Her being like, the thing is, these men think they're using me, but I'm actually using them.
And we need to talk about that more. We need to talk about that more. Anytime a woman has sex with a man and then he ends up ghosting her the next day, it's always like, he was just using you. What about me?
Maybe I was just using him.
It's because men are bad in the bedroom, that's why. I guess let's not go there.
She said generalization.
Well,
for the most part.
Drop a comment down below if you disagree.
That's the topic.
But while she's in LA, she's like, yeah, I don't want to be married to Ernie, obviously. That wasn't the whole point. So she kind of hangs out at this little diner where she thinks a lot of producers are going to be hanging out.
Yeah.
And she's right, because she meets Harry there. And Harry's like,
This is Harry Styles.
Right.
Okay, yeah. Gotcha. Yeah.
And he's like, okay, like, I'm gonna give you a deal, and you're gonna be, like, she's gonna get some small roles in some movies.
As an extra.
Yeah, like, whatever. And she's like, my boobs deserve to be on the big screen.
Period.
Yeah.
She said, people deserve to know this face.
I have to tell someone about this. Get the town yeller. And she's like, she's so cunt, because one of her coworkers was in a movie, and she cuts out the newspaper clipping of a bad review, and she's like, I would have done better.
She don't care who she step on to get to the top.
Period.
And like, some may call that like, you know,
I call that strategy, babe.
Right, like some may say she's not a girl's girl, but I think that she knew what she wanted and she went after it.
I think she would even say she's not a girl's girl, which is what I like about this character.
She's just kind of like, I know that I did whatever I needed to do, and I don't really give a fuck. Period.
I'm not saying it was right.
No.
But I'm also not saying I feel bad.
Exactly. I'm saying it was wrong.
Yeah. But eventually she convinces Harry to work with her, and he's like, well, the thing is like, you can't really be a leading lady because, frankly, you're not white, and it's the 1960s right now in America.
Right.
So, and she's like, well, I could just be blonde. And he's like,
I could be blonde and change my name.
that could work.
And he's like, yes.
Oh.
You ate. Yeah. So she goes and she dyes her hair blonde.
And they do this whole photo shoot with her where they force her to walk a golden retriever down or it's a St. Bernard or something like that, down the street. And she's like, I don't even know whose dog this is.
This country and the goddamn picket fence.
I'm wearing a tennis skirt, walking a dog that's not mine, and I'm blonde. Weird.
Yeah. She like completely stops speaking Spanish, changes her name, like a whole thing. And she's like, I mean, shit. She's happy to leave it in the past.
Yeah, she was so excited.
Yeah.
Evelyn Hugo, I know Taylor Jenkins Reid brain damn near exploded when she came out with
I know, she was like, ooh, my pen's on fire. My pen is on fire. Yeah, and so part of that is like, they're like, hey, queen, we kind of need you to like go out and, you know, be on dates and like be on the social scene and like be out there. I mean, she's like 18 at this point. She's very young. They're like, if you want to like make it in this business, you got to be out there on the streets. And so she's like,
similar to Haylor in 2012, if you were there for that.
Yeah,
if you believe that was PR, I don't.
Exactly.
But I can see why you would think that.
Yeah. And so she goes home and she's like, Ernie.
And he's like, He knew
he was
coming.
like, he's like, I'm sure every single night when she came home and she like had changed her name, she dyed her hair, she got a new wardrobe, he was like, she's gonna leave me within the week.
Yeah, no, but every night she came home and didn't leave him, he was like,
right. And then she was like, dropped the bomb on him and he was like,
yeah, and she's like, you know, I gave him what he wanted. I was a good wife while we were married, so.
Didn't cheat on him, like, period.
Yeah, and like, also, I was 16 when we got married, so kind of deserve what you get.
Exactly.
That.
Exactly. You married a child, so.
We also learned during this chapter that Monique is separated from her husband, and she's not really gaffing that much. She's sad.
She's gaffing, and she's like, why'd that fuck-ass take my coffee table?
Yeah, she's gaffing about the wrong things.
Yeah.
She's not like, oh my god, my husband left me. She's like, God,
I don't have a coffee table!
So selfish.
Because why did he take that? You don't even have an apartment.
I couldn't give you an explanation for any of the things that men do.
Yeah. He just wanted to be spiteful.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Quite literally.
Where am I supposed to eat my sushi? My $50 sushi that I got DoorDash.
He says stand and eat it, and that's so diabolical.
Oh, now you hate fat people.
Like, so also like interspersed between these we get little just sections of Monique and older Evelyn talking about, but they're like really short. So let's jump back into the story. Our next section is about Dawn Adler, or like centers around husband number 2.
Oh, I love the fact that she names it Goddamn Dawn Adler. It's
Yeah.
the section of the book in which this is titled.
I did love the way she named each one, but based on like how she felt about the marriage. Ugh. Yeah, Dawn Adler when I get you for real.
But
so,
not yet.
Not yet. Fair enough. She's set up with Dawn, and they kind of go on a couple dates, and she's like, wait, I actually kind of fuck with him.
Yeah, because she's been going on these
Hold
dates
on.
before, but they were just PR. And
Yeah.
she was like, oh, God, man.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Mind you, like before this, she had actually slept with like the studio exec, the guy who's like above Harry's position, because she was like, I
want
know
the role in Little Women.
I want the role in Little Women. I know he's gonna be able to give it to me. And the thing is, he's been staring at my rack for the past like 3 years. So she like manages to, you know, sleep with him. And in that moment, it's like very much, it's kind of like bittersweet in a way, because she's like, sex means nothing to me. And
yet it means everything to me because it's gotten me some really great places.
Yeah. Very interesting. Like her views on sex and intimacy. But
well, I think it's a good point to make, because I think when you are especially a beautiful woman is that you will learn time and time again that men will do anything to get you, and once they get you, they don't want you anymore.
Yeah.
Because you're just a whole...
No, like that's really how they think of it, and it's really crass to say, but that's true. A lot of people think that way, and she was like, I'm gonna flip the script. But, you know, it becomes a...
And you guys are so fuck-ass and stupid.
Yeah.
You think I'm just a whore. No. You're the whore, bitch.
Yeah. So, she's like, wait, he's kind of like a nice guy, and he's kind of fun to be around. Like,
and she's like, he's goddamn sexy. And
hot.
he's like a popular man at the time, you know, like He's getting all the big name movies. He's an up and coming star. He's a nepo baby.
Yeah.
He's a nepo baby.
So she's like, this is
it was
period.
so cute because she was like, she gave us some historical context because she was like, his parents were actually big silent film stars.
Yeah.
This is the 60s at this point.
So he's like the hottest nepo baby on the floor. And she's like, wait, this is actually working out really, really well. Come to find out, Dom proposes to her on a red carpet. Now that is good press.
Yeah, that's good press, and I think that's partially why she loves him so much.
Yeah.
Because when they're winning, they're winning.
They're winning. And it's like, she couldn't have said that up better herself, but then she actually likes him too. That worked out amazing. And Harry also is like getting her a lot of roles in rom-coms at this time. So like, she's just like, they're just the it couple. So to see them get engaged on a red carpet is like the moment.
Yeah, but it's important to note the rom-coms that she's in at this point are not anything that she particularly wants to be in. She's still not big just yet.
Yeah. She's like up and coming, like,
and Harry is talking strategy with her. She's like, you need to be in these basic rom-coms.
Yeah.
Get people to like you, get people to trust you, and then we'll do Little Women and flip the script on them yet again.
Yeah. Right. Also, we find out here that Harry is gay.
Harry comes out to her at her wedding.
Yeah.
And she's like, why haven't you made a pass? It was so cute.
I know.
She's like, why haven't you made a pass on me? And he's like, did you want me to? And she's like, no, but
like, explain.
No,
but explain.
No, but yeah, kinda.
Right. She's like, but you're also sexy, and like, explain it? I don't know.
Maybe. I don't know, maybe. And he's like, no, I'm gay.
Boots, baby, I'm gay. So after their wedding, they go on their honeymoon. And it's like cute for 2 days, and then she immediately starts seeing like a weird side of him.
Yeah, he can get mean.
He can get mean.
Oh, a man yelling at a woman. I'm so shocked.
This is really shocking.
Also, to give historical context to what today is, Tory Lanez just got stabbed.
I love you, Megan Thee Stallion.
I love Megan Thee Stallion.
Yeah.
Don't stab people, but also I love you, Megan Thee Stallion.
Yeah. And so, yeah, there's like one night after in their honeymoon where like he says something about like, oh, I want breakfast, and she calls down to housekeeping, and he's like, what kind of fucking wife doesn't know what I want for breakfast? Bitch.
No, he said, if you're not gonna cook for me, you could at least know what I want. Is it so hard to call down to room service?
Right, and I did the calling for you. Imagine.
Always something to complain about.
Right. Nothing is ever enough. So she's like, huh, that's curious. But, you know, they move on from it. Then they both get cast in the... No, she's like, what the fuck? They get cast in the same movie and get sent to, I don't remember where, like Vegas or somewhere to shoot the movie. And she basically is like... They have a fight one night, and he hits her. This is when we get into like the domestic abuse.
It's because he's suggesting that she basically become a wife, and he's going to continue acting, but she should give up her acting career and just have his babies and change her last name and basically
stop. Yeah. I mean, at this
career
point
that
too,
she's worked so hard for and is clearly so passionate about.
Yeah. At this point too, she basically realizes that like he's unhappy unless like he is at the top.
Yeah, he doesn't like when she's more
successful than him. Yeah. It has to be either like somewhat equal or he's above her. And at this point her career is taking off and his is starting to plateau. And so he's just unhappy. And that's when he's like, it's time for you to settle down. And she's like, no. And then unfortunately it devolves into him
getting violent.
Yeah. And then we kind of see over like the course of several months, he gets anything and everything. The cycle continues. He is abusive towards her.
And
he
apologizes. Comes back and
cries.
And, oh, I didn't mean to.
Over like dumb shit, like literally the dumbest shit ever. It's disgusting. And yeah, it was just like, it was one of those things where like, I was like, you know, you have to throw your hands up and be like, it's like, you cannot
Women can never win.
It's kind of terrifying, you know? Like, in a way, I was like, this actually is so scary. Because, like, this is a genuine, like, fear that I think a lot of people have, is that, like, you'll meet someone and you don't really know them until you know them and you're, like, they trap you in this situation.
Well, yeah, I talk about all the time. I don't understand how women date. Well, I guess anybody. Because I guess men can be afraid of women, too. But, I mean, let's face it, it's mostly women. how do you cope with the fear dating as a woman, knowing that your
Yeah.
boyfriend could have done something horrible to his last girlfriend, like something like this?
Yeah.
And then you're just living in his apartment and just like not knowing, and then
Yeah.
somebody, like his friends are watching you guys date,
And they
like,
all know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Or worse, you get hit with a hey girly.
Oh. I almost got hit with the hate girlie after my my boyfriend cheated on me at Rolling Loud Miami once.
Yeah.
But instead he told me flat out to my face and I just ignored it. Hey, we've all been there. We've all been cheated on at Rolling Loud Miami.
Happens to everybody. Rite of passage. So where is this? Yeah, and unfortunately, this is very common that women in this situation will kind of cover it up and not tell anyone and try and hide it. It's very sad. Like,
well, especially because she still loves him and she admits
Yeah.
that to Harry and some other people in her life. She's
Yeah.
like, I'm not gonna leave him because I love him.
yeah.
But
Also,
she's on the up and up.
yeah.
Because she finds out they're gonna do Little Women for her finally.
She's like,
But
yes!
but Celia St. James is gonna be in it, and she's like, oh, whoa.
She's like, not that young harlot.
Yeah, that little harlot, that Jezebel, that skinny
Literally.
little Jezebel.
No, because
She's like, it's gonna ruin it for us all.
no, literally her and like another actress at the time, Ruby, they're like commiserating, being like, that fucking bitch. Mind you, they're like 21 and they're like, that young girl.
Yeah.
They're 21
Yeah.
and the girl is like 19.
Yeah.
Like they're just so, I mean, but it's fair because like in the entertainment industry, it's like you have to be the youngest, hottest thing. And it's like as a woman, aging, they put so much stress and like really like just shame
The
you for
worst thing
aging.
you can be as a woman is 30 or fat.
Yeah. Like,
God forbid.
no, literally. They shame you so much for getting older, for changing in any way, not being like the cutest, tiniest, youngest person. So they're both like, fucking God. And Celia St. James gets cast as Amy, which is like a very big role in Little Women.
It actually.
Very
I feel
good.
like I need to.
Very good.
And
And
Timothée
so-
Chalamet.
and they're both like, are you fucking kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me? They're both so pissed. They're like, what can we do to like fuck her up? Like, they're like literally commiserating, which I was like, y'all, this is madness. Like, why are you doing that?
Well, and Dawn is like, I can get her kicked off the project. And Evelyn's like, nah, it'll be fine.
And she's like, "Ugh, that's a little bit crazy. Like, let me not do too much. But Celia one day comes up to them and she's like, oh my God, you guys, I'm so nervous. Like, this is my first big role, whatever. And they're both like,
Shut the
rude
fuck
to her.
up.
No, they're both rude as fuck to her. And she's like,
That's curious.
yeah, that's very, how curious. And another day she's like, you know what, Evelyn, let's go get lunch. Let's get lunch, girl. Evelyn's like, okay. So they end up going out. Celia takes her to like this one like milkshake place that's like very popular. And she's like, they sit at the
The
table.
paparazzi is supposed to be there.
Yeah, sit at the table and Evelyn's like, girl, I know you brought me here because you want photos taken of us together. To
And she's
play
like-
at this game.
Yeah, she's like, here's the tea. Nobody uses me.
Yeah.
I use everybody else.
Yeah,
So
she's-
here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna sit here and I'm gonna drink a milkshake with you every week, and you're gonna get your photo printed in all the press, but you're gonna give me acting lessons, because Boots, low-key, I kind of suck at acting.
Yeah. She's like, I'm beautiful, but I do kind of suck at acting.
Yeah.
So
I
you're
could-
gonna
I
give me
could-
lessons. You're gonna get your photo op. Like, this is not my first rodeo. We're gonna have to make this transactional.
She embarrasses Celia.
The fuck out of her. Celia's like, oh my God. She's like, you totally picked up what I was doing. That's embarrassing. Yeah, girl. You can't outdo the doer. I've been around the block a couple times. Like, please. So
This book is so good.
yeah, it really is. And so they then a couple weeks later also important to note that her housekeeper, Evelyn's housekeeper, knows about the abuse going on because she walks in on her one day when she's getting dressed and sees like bruising. And
We'll come back to that later.
yeah. Well, coming back to it now.
Oh.
Because one of these days she walks in and I think Evelyn's having a bad day or something and she kind of snaps at her and she's kind of rude to her. Lo and behold, in the press the next day, Evelyn Hugo is a slob. She's gross. She's disrespectful to her wait staff.
She can't even keep a good house, and she won't give her husband children.
Yeah. Girl.
Once again, God forbid. Also, she's so young at this point. She's got plenty of time to have a kid.
I know, like
If you tried to convince 21-year-old me to have a baby, I mean, A, I don't want a baby, but B, my 21-year-old body was not capable of giving birth to a child. Absolutely not. I don't care if, like, technically speaking, it could have, No.
It's
21-year-old me would have died if I tried to have a baby.
It's really the 60s of it all. For real. They were like,
true.
You're 20, it's time to start having kids.
You're 13, might as well get married.
Yeah.
Old ass bitch.
No, really.
God.
So they're like, fuck. Now, as the movie's starting to come out in the press, starting to be successful, Celia comes over one night and they're like, let's have a little wine night, girls' night, because they're trying to like actually build a friendship. And Evelyn's like, I've kind of never had a friend like this before. Like, I actually have a friend.
They're also celebrating because in response to the first story, Evan's like, let's create a second one. This will give us even more buzz for the movie. Get this, y'all. Oops, I had a miscarriage. That's the story we're gonna have Miss Thing leak to the press, and also they fire her.
Yeah.
And they leak it to the press, and it works like a charm.
It really does.
Amazing. And anyways, you were saying about Celia. Go
yes,
ahead.
yes.
That's what they're celebrating.
Yeah, so they're celebrating the fact that, you know, Boots' press is good. Boots' movie's doing amazing. Like,
also, we're hot.
Right. Also,
we're hot, we're rich.
We're young. It's amazing. So
you live in a kitchen that you don't even know your way around because people have been cooking for you for years.
No, she's like, where the fuck do we keep the wine glasses? Huh.
I actually don't know anything about my own house.
No idea. So Evelyn's like, also, I've never had a friend like this before. Like, we actually kind of became friends. Like, Celia, come over, let's celebrate. Let's have a little wine night. Cute for us. Dawn's out of town. And
no,
so...
Dawn's there. He's just not there that night.
He's not there that night. So he's not at the house. They come over and they're like getting fucked up.
Celia's getting fucked up.
Evelyn's
just like, oh.
Celia's like, I don't know if we need cups because I'm gonna drink straight from the bottle.
Evelyn is basically anybody that ever hangs out with me, just watching me drink the bottle.
Celia literally came back from the kitchen and she was like, we don't need glasses. We're not gonna need those.
Girl.
Yeah. Eventually,
which frankly, I don't know what she's so stressed about because has she ever been a receptionist in her life?
Right.
Like, that's when you drink the entire bottle of wine with no glasses.
Yeah. Yeah. But some wine spills all over Celia's top. And so they're like, okay, wait, let's get you cleaned up. They go upstairs to her room and she takes off her top because Evelyn's like, I have one you can borrow. And then she's like,
how curious.
This is very curious. This is extremely curious.
She's gorge.
Yeah, she's like, wait,
I've never looked at a woman this way before. No, she's gorge.
She's like, in this lighting of my closet? I don't know.
Like, after these 72 glasses of wine,
something has changed. And as they're like, she's having this moment,
and they're both just kind of staring at each other.
Yeah.
Of course, Dawn walks in and he's like, what's going on here?
I was like, of course you start panting immediately. Please stop. Like, why do you have to be so annoying and gross? Yeah. I was so pissed.
Yeah.
God. But after that, the Golden Globes happen, right? And Ruby is there. Everyone's there that night. And there's this one night where Ruby kind of pulls Evelyn into a closet.
It's at a Golden Globes after party.
Yeah. Everyone's there in the Hollywood Hills. And Ruby, the other girl from Little Women, pulls Evelyn into a closet and she's like...
Because Celia won, I think.
Yes, she did. And she's like, girl, they saying you gay.
No, at this point, they're not saying she's gay. They're saying Celia's gay.
But they're saying they're being gay together.
Oh, okay.
Right? And so she's like, what? What?
She's so caught off guard. She's like, I didn't think about it until right now, but actually, yeah.
No, literally. She said, huh. It's adding up a lot.
Yeah.
Didn't think about it, but
Ruby is, of course, homophobic about it.
Of course.
She's like, you need to go find your husband because, by the way, he's upstairs cheating on you right fucking now. First of all. Second of all, you're being gay all around town and your husband's cheating on you. Girl.
Get it together. First of all, fuck you. Second of all, were you not going to tell me?
This lady. That's how you're telling me my husband is upstairs? And also, not even cheating. He's upstairs getting head. There's something worse about that.
There is something worse about that. He's not even pleasuring the other girl.
Yeah, you're right.
Oh, God, that pissed me off so bad. I was like, of course, of course. The thing is, too, I was like, Ruby, were you not even going to tell her unless you had this new
reason to tell
gay
her,
bomb to drop? Like, how long has everyone known that this man has been cheating on me? Because she later finds Harry, and Harry was like, oh, you didn't know? He's been cheating on you. Bitch, what? You guys all knew and didn't tell me?
That's my nightmare.
That's my literal nightmare. Oh my God.
Yeah, like, those men that were at Rolling Loud Miami with my ex-boyfriend, like, probably watched him cheat on me. Like, they're probably in the room.
Like, does it suck to get a hey girly? Yeah, but I would rather get a hey girly than nothing at all.
Then you just watched me get cheated on, you're not gonna tell me.
Right, no. But she goes and finds Celia and pulls her back into the closet, and she's like,
bitch, are you gay?
Celia's
like, yes.
No, she's like,
obviously.
She's like,
they do kiss in that closet.
They do kiss. They share a kiss.
And one thing,
steamy kiss.
I heard people say this book was smutty. I actually disagree. Yeah. I think talk about a good
romantic book.
Yeah, a romantic book, and also, what's the word? An effective sex scene.
Yeah.
Because I can really feel their chemistry during this kiss, but I don't feel like it's like vulgar or anything.
No, not at all. I never.
And we know a thing about we know a thing or two about a vulgar book.
I will never forget the candy cane.
Go watch that video. It's kind of funny. It's a good episode.
Yeah. But it's like, at all of these scenes where they're being intimate, it's romantic, you know? And it's never over the top with detail. It's just exactly...
Closed door.
It's closed door.
Kiss, yeah.
No, and it's like, even the scenes later where, like, when there's, like, more to it, it's never to the point where I'm like, oh my God.
This is smut scene.
Yeah, this is smutty. Like, I always feels like, oh, like, I can, like you said, I can feel the chemistry, like, jumping off the page. Such a good scene. But then they break apart, and she's like, oh Lord, I gotta go. And she runs outside. She runs upstairs, and she finds Dawn in the room. Like, he's literally buckling up his pants. God! No, and she's like, bitch, I'll kill you. And he's like, wait, what's the problem? Like, what's the issue?
He's like, I thought you knew. I've been cheating on you for like 6 months. All right, well. She's like, well,
I'm going home with Harry.
I'm gonna leave.
Like, I'm going home with Harry. Gets in the car with Harry, they drive away. And she basically after that moves into Celia's apartment with her, for a couple days, because she's like, I need to figure out what the fuck to do about this. Like, we obviously cannot keep being married. It just cannot happen. And so the thing is, in order to like reach a resolution, they basically, mind you, he files for divorce from her, which is crazy.
Yeah, on the grounds of abandonment, which, like, I guess is technically true.
Technically, but God, fuck him. So basically, he gets her blackballed from Hollywood. That was the only way he would agree to like any sort of like
mutually
divorce.
Beneficial divorce.
Yeah,
because she gets half his money and the house. Not a bad deal.
Yeah,
but her career does tank for a little bit.
It takes a dip for sure, because he literally blackballs her, gets her removed from the studio, and Harry's like, I'm so sorry, girl, but I work for the studio and I can't do anything about this. Like,
and remember, he's not only is he very successful, she's still like, this is her first big movie. Yeah. He's had many big movies. Yeah. Plus, he's a Nepo baby.
You're right. So. It's like she can't compete here. But after she signs the divorce papers, she stays at Celia's house.
It's on. It's on. Like, she walks. Her and Celia.
Oh, she walks into the room and she's like, disrobe.
Yeah, she's like, I'm in love with you.
Yeah.
And it's one.
Yeah. And she's like, period, me too. I think that's period. Like, so then we move on to the next portion of her husband's.
Her next husband, yeah.
Yeah. Now, in between this, we get a little bit, again, back to Monique, and she's like, what? Oh. I was like, well, I was typing really fast
when I wrote this outline.
Monique is also sitting here now questioning, she still doesn't know why Evelyn has like reached out to her, and specifically her, for this, and she's like, what do you want from me here? Like, what is the goal? Evelyn's like, I want you to write this book, obviously, and I want you to be the only person to release it.
So, by the way, that means fuck Vivant. And she's like, well, that doesn't really work for me, because right now I have I can't lose my job, and this book is going to take a while to come out, and I have no money.
Right, like, so. I have to pay to live. Mm-hmm. Evelyn's like, no, and Evelyn's like, huh? Like, I never, curious. So, she's,
Monique slays about it, because she convinces Evelyn to actually do a cover story, and she gets her book. And Evelyn's like, okay, cunt.
Yeah, period, I'll do that. So that's like 1 point for Monique, good for her. Now, back to our story. Celia wins an Oscar for Little Women, period. And Evelyn isn't at the awards because
she's been blacklisted.
But she gets so excited that she won the Oscar that she chips her fucking tooth because she kisses the TV.
Yeah, just really sweet.
Oh, like, it's so cute.
And they're just living in now Evelyn's house.
Yeah.
Just living like a very domesticated life.
Yeah.
And people are starting to write in the papers like, why the fuck is Celia's car always outside of Evelyn's house? The fuck? Why are you stalking my car,
your
you
business.
wackadoodle?
Right.
And she's like, I don't want to give up my cunty little car. It's pink.
No, like, I'm not
driving
doing
a
that.
pink convertible.
No, like, I'm not
So she
doing
drives
that.
like a very like noticeable and recognizable car.
Yeah.
And
yeah, she's like, oh, God damn. Now,
and they're like, are they having gay sleepovers?
and they're like, what? No,
They're like, no, just normal sleepovers.
Yeah, just regular ones.
We just sleep in the same bed.
Yeah, every single day for the rest of our lives.
But
yeah.
this whole between time, Evelyn hasn't been working. She doesn't
Yeah.
have any work because she's been blacklisted.
Right. Then she gets a job with...
She goes to France because she's like, I need to distance myself from Celia because I don't like these gay rumors that are circulating.
Yeah, she's like, oh,
because Evelyn especially has, during this time, Celia is very comfortable in her sexuality. Evelyn's not.
Yeah.
Evelyn cares more about her career than she does anything else at this point.
Yeah. So she goes to France and she gets a job with Max Girard.
God.
Yeah. And Bout en Train is the name of the film.
Woo.
Please. And they, basically in this movie for the first time, she shows a little nip.
No, she doesn't show nip. That's
She
the point.
doesn't show, oh, she doesn't show nip.
She's coming out of the water and like just barely her nipples don't
it
show.
stops like right there. And that really sets her up for success. Like everyone is like,
because
oh
everyone
I want to see your boobs.
Yeah, everyone watches it like 7,000 times hoping that, oh, maybe this time I'll actually see something.
Yeah, because the scene is like, they're like,
once again, women using men.
God, it's also like, yeah, period. But this really, really helps her bring her back into like movie star status. Her boobs are shockingly huge.
I mean, that's kind of what happened.
You know what? At the beginning of the book, she self-described as having enormous boobs and no ass. I was like,
well, she's also like, again, trigger warning for eating disorders, but to be fair, it was America in the 60s.
Yeah.
And no ass, super thin, and enormo boobs.
Yeah.
Yeah. No waist and big boobs. I could never be me. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah. So
fuck you,
Dawn. After she goes there, she finds out also that Dawn marries Ruby, this girl who was, anti-gay. Fuck both of them. And Harry, Celia, and Evelyn go to a Mick Riva concert. Now,
because Mick Riva's been around at the press.
Yeah.
Mick Riva's like, I need to marry Evelyn Hugo right fucking now. What's one more husband?
No, he's talking in the press, and she's like, what the fuck? Mick Riva, if you have read Malibu Rising, is the father.
One thing about her, she's gonna intertwine her universes. I love it.
I remember you telling me when we read that book that Mick Riva was in this, and I was so excited.
He gets what he deserves in this book. Actually, no, I guess he doesn't get what he deserves.
Not really.
Ever.
Yeah. But they go to the concert, and so she's like, okay, someone sees her and Celia holding hands, and she's like, this cannot do. They're gonna spread rumors. I have to fuck Mick Riva. I simply must.
Only option.
Right. So she comes up with this whole elaborate plan.
Did you notice how I called him Nicholas?
Nicholas, you're done. Nicholas Riva. But she come up with this huge elaborate plan to go to Vegas with him, and then sleep with him, and then immediately divorce.
Love this chapter.
This chapter was so good.
She describes it as like, you're gonna go to Vegas with him. You can't let him know that you want to get married. You have to let him think it's your idea.
Yeah. That chapter was so good. I literally, like, when I tell you that bitch was in my ear, and I was like, yeah, what after that? Yeah, what after that? It was so well written. Like, I was on the edge of my seat. Mm-hmm. Oh my God. Mm-hmm. I loved that change in like the writing style just for that chapter. Yeah. Because it was like, I'm playing this man like a fiddle. He has no idea that I am the one calling the shots here, and he thinks he's in control. It
really puts you, like, you can almost see yourself doing it.
Yeah. You're like,
although my boobs would never be able to entrance that man. The only thing my boobs did this weekend was make a man laugh.
Yeah. Now, she does all this.
I promise I won't email you. I don't have your email.
God forbid we find it. So she does this whole elaborate plan.
We find it like we're searching on the internet. I'm in the mainframe. We're Beatty. We're Beatty in the control room.
We're Caleb Rivers. Your hard drive is
your software slaves, by the way.
Who was saying slay in 2016 in like a serious way?
Nobody.
No one. Anyways, she sleeps with Mick, and then in the morning, she like purposefully is like, I'm gonna be awful at this fuck so that he wants to divorce me in the morning. And does. He wakes up and he's like, hey baby, I think it's best if we go our separate ways.
And another thing that I liked about this writing was that she notices that he's kind of taking some pleasure in breaking her heart, being the one to be the one to, breaking her heart, obviously. Yeah. He's kind of taking a little bit of pleasure in being the one to break up with her.
Yeah. And she's like, because, I want to see my plan through. I throw him a softball and I start crying. Period. I need him to believe.
The most I can do for him.
Yeah. Oh, so good.
Yeah.
But she comes back to, back home, and
everything is going well at first.
Yeah, for a couple weeks, everything's fine. But then one day, she's like, Celia, I'm pregnant.
And Celia's like,
pregnant with whose baby?
Yeah. Celia's like, so you slept with Nicholas in Las Vegas when you guys eloped?
And she's like, well, yes.
And she's like, well, why did you sleep with Nicholas?
No, she's like, I thought that the plan was to go there and get married and then get divorced. I didn't know you were going to sleep with the man. And she was like, oh, well, yes. And Celia's like,
or else it would not have looked real.
Right. And Celia's like,
she was so wrong for that.
No.
Yeah, she was so wrong for that.
So wrong
Frankly,
for that.
she probably could have just asked Mick to marry her.
Straight up.
She didn't have to do this whole elaborate plan. Oh, I enjoyed it very much.
Oh, the chapter was boots good.
Yeah, she didn't really have to do any of that.
This was shockingly awful to Celia. It was so, I cannot even imagine. Celia is heartbroken.
Because Celia didn't want her to do it in the first place.
Yeah.
Celia didn't want a fake marriage. Celia didn't want even them to go on a date. Nothing.
She was like, please don't do this because, I'm comfortable. But she was like, if you need to do this, fine. What we're not going to do is have you cheat on me, though. Especially because you didn't even tell me. And so...
like, well, I thought it was implied, so... Implied cheating. Implied cheating, like when my boyfriend went to Rolling Loud Miami.
Right, that's what he
Frankly,
said.
I should have known that that's what was going to happen.
He said, I'm going to Rolling Loud Miami. Like, what did you expect to fucking
Rolling
happen?
Loud in Miami.
Yeah, it's over. It's done. Boots on the ground, he is sleeping with someone.
There's just no way he's not.
So Celia gets in her car and leaves.
And they've been together for 3 whole years at this point.
Yeah. They're both heartbroken. And Evelyn's like, I think I made a mistake.
How curious.
No, she was like, wait, that might have backfired on me, really bad. Because she's calling her and doing everything, and Celia's
she's having to email her because her number's blocked.
Right, and she's sending Carrier Pigeon, and Celia's really stonewalling her. She's
there was a pigeon at work the other day, and I petted it.
Ew.
It was a pet pigeon.
Oh,
I don't know
okay.
where you get a pet pigeon.
Yeah.
From. I don't think you should.
Right, I was gonna say, why did the pigeon get domesticated?
I would assume they brought the pigeon from a pigeon breeder. They didn't just go get it off the streets.
Pigeon breeder.
Okay. Well, I actually don't know how you get birds. Can you get birds from a breeder? I don't know. Let's move on.
Yeah. So then she's kind of she's broken up. Now we move on to Rex North, her next
and she's
husband.
like, I'm actually kind of fond of this man. He didn't really do anything that crazy.
Yeah. She's like, I need some good PR. This will be good for both of us.
Let's just have a nice little domesticated marriage where we're not actually married, but we're gonna live together. We can sleep in separate beds, and get this, you can fuck anybody you want to.
I know. And he's like, I think that's period. Okay, that's
period.
Yeah.
He's like, well, yeah.
This is nice for both of us.
And they sign on to do a huge deal with Sunset Studios.
Yeah.
And she becomes the highest paid actress in Hollywood. Period.
Yeah. Yeah.
Period.
This part of her life, this. Was she devastated and still heartbroken about Celia? Yeah.
She's got a job to do.
There's an undercurrent of depression, okay? Because she lost her lover.
Which is crazy, because when I'm depressed, I sit in my bed and fart.
No, she went to
I'm not
work.
putting in work.
She went to work.
Yeah.
It kind of drove her. She was like, I need a distraction. And, I had a job to do when I came to Los Angeles, and I'm going to do it.
Mm-hmm.
So, she does it. Now, in the meantime, we also find out, obviously this is a couple years later, Celia gets married to an NFL player named John Braverman. I was like, Celia, not the NFL player.
I know, right? But then I was also like, football.
Yeah.
The idea, what were they watching it on? I guess they had TVs, didn't they?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
The idea of settling in the 70s to watch a football game, the way that thought has weirdly never occurred to me.
Yeah, I know.
Seems like he had a lot better stuff to do in the 70s than sit down and watch a football game.
I sure wasn't going to do that then, and I'm not doing it now.
I actually kind of like football, kind of. I like going to sports bars and drinking.
Okay. I'm back. So we get some important commentary here on sex, like we were talking about earlier, what it means to be a woman, to be, you know, to perform for a male gaze.
One time Rex hits on her and she's like, actually, I'm horny. And one thing about Miss Evelyn, she's very comfortable in having sex. She's not worried about her body count like I am frequently. It's craziness the way I don't think body count matters. Like, everybody else can fuck a million people if they want to, but me...
No, I mean, there's a lot of...
You're a dumb idiot. And I think that's an experience really exclusive to women.
Yes.
I don't think men experience it hardly at all.
Yeah. I mean, you can
men
see
can do whatever they want.
On such a, like, basic dumb level. You can see it when you watch, like, Love Island, and they'll do this one challenge where it'll be like, guess what your partner's body count is. And
the men will have 100 and the girls will have 6.
The men will say 1,000.
Yeah.
They'll be like, I have 1,000 bodies. And the girls will say like
6.
15. And the man will get mad at her and be like, why have you slept with 6 people? I have literally see that happen. And she's like, you've slept with 1,000 people.
Doesn't matter.
Like, why do you care? I don't care about your number. Why do you care about mine? It's like, the thing is, they want to be able, like, to be the one to sleep with you. They want to be the one to...
And that's kind of what she's saying here, is that she's like, he doesn't even want to sleep with me as a person. He wants to sleep with me as an idea.
As Evelyn, Hugo.
And she's like, nice try, get out of here. Which is such a bummer, because men do this thing to themselves where it's like, if you could just be normal, you would get fucked so much more.
Right. Just
but
be
you
normal.
refuse to be normal.
God, like, it's very objectifying. And
now it's like I'm not horny anymore, which is crazy because I am always horny. How is it possible? Honestly, how is it not possible for you to make me not horny?
Right.
That is impossible.
Yeah, it's actually crazy, and yet it happens.
Regularly.
So she's like, God, this fucking sucks. Now, she got an abortion, right? From Mitch's...
Nicholas' baby. I totally forgot to mention that.
She does get an abortion, so she does not have that baby.
I kind of thought that was implied.
Yeah, but he then eventually leaves her because
he's like, my actual wife is having a baby, and she's like, didn't you cheat on that woman like with like 60 women? And he's like, yeah, well, she's forgiven me.
Yeah. She's like, yeah, but like we're settling down, so I kind of need a divorce.
This is what's gonna happen with me and the guy that cheated on me at Rolling Loud Miami.
No.
He just needs to go have his fun years.
No.
He needs to go have his, like, Rolling Loud Miami years.
No. He's had them.
He'll be back.
No. But she's like, okay, you know what? If we're gonna get a divorce, let's make this, again, mutually beneficial. So we will say that I had an affair with Harry.
Well, also, if you're married to Joy and suddenly she has a baby...
Right.
It's gonna be obvious that you cheated on me, and nobody cheats on me, girl.
Right. She's like...
not in the public eye, anyway.
Yeah. So she's like, what we're gonna do is I'm gonna me and Harry are gonna go in my car. We're gonna sit on, like, the Sunset Strip, and we're gonna make out. And then everyone's gonna be like, oh my God, she's cheating on her man. Then you can file for divorce. Boom shakalaka. And does. They get in the car, and Harry's like... I guess I can do this with you, like...
Yeah, and she describes the kiss, she's like...
Good kiss. No, why did I get like a fanny flutter during the kiss? I was like, Harry! No, like I would have been...
Fanny flutter!
Have you never heard that before?
No!
What? I guess it's a Love Island term. The UK girlies say fanny flutter.
No, they say fanny flutter.
Yeah. So, I mean, listen, this is definitely going to be a situation for me. Like, if I were her, I would have been like, oh, I'm boots in love with him. Because, like, I will fall at first hurdle every time. Don't kiss me that well. Don't ever do that. But
I need to be kissed so bad right now. It's crazy.
Life is hard. But in that moment, she's like, wait, what if we got married? And he's like,
good idea. He's like, good idea,
Yeah.
but also, I'm seeing Celia's husband.
and she's like, what?
I would have been so mad at him.
No, I would have been like,
the fuck is wrong with you?
are you dead ass?
No way.
and you didn't tell me this whole time.
And she's like, have you been seeing her? And he's like, yeah.
No.
And she's like, is she doing well? And he's like, yeah.
No, I'm swinging on him.
Yeah.
No, the Sunset Strip, we're gonna go from making out to like literally like a fist fight.
Yeah. Paparazzi are gonna catch something different tonight.
No, really. But she's like, listen, this might work out for both of us because obviously like you want to keep your sexuality like on the DL. You know, I want to keep living my life and have my career take off, but also like there's nobody else I'd rather like be married to and like, you know, be with. You're my best friend. And he's like,
you're mine too, girl.
You're my best friend too. This was really sweet. So then
their relationship is so sweet.
Very, very cute. They basically get married and
they have their little wedding. He's seeing John. She's just kind of chilling.
Yeah.
But
there's an Oscar. The Oscars happened that year, and
she goes with Harry.
Yeah.
And she's nominated for something she didn't win. Again,
bro. But Celia is there with her man, and she's like looking at her the whole time, like, oh my god, I miss her so bad. And at one point she runs into the bathroom.
And Harry's like, why don't you just go talk to her? And she's like, no.
Are you crazy?
But I guess I will. You're right.
So
she's like me when I try to, like, when I'm like, should I go talk to that guy? And before you guys even finish saying yes, I'm already gone.
You're a puff of smoke. Like, you're vanished.
That was her in that moment.
Yeah. So she is in the bathroom. Celia comes in, or the other way around, I can't remember. And they kind of have, like, a really quick conversation. Immediately start making out. Mm-hmm. Like, they
have an intimate scene in the public restroom.
Right. Like, they did not last seconds.
I need that.
Yeah. I need that kind of passion. Like, that's passion. They love each other. It's been years since they've even spoken. The last time they talked was when Celia drove away in her pink Cooper. Like, that was the last time they spoke, and yet they are, like, having the...
It's like nothing, no time has passed.
Yeah. And so they're like, okay, what if the four of us move to New York? We live literally like a block away from each other.
We're basically four beards.
We're four beards, literally. Guys. And they're like, this situation worked out so good for everyone. Mm-hmm. Because Harry and John are boots in love. Celia and
oh, by the way, I was
boots
totally picturing Travis Kelce. Travis Kelce and Harry Styles.
You gotta be kidding me.
Oh my god. That's the only football player I know. I mean, I also know Jalen Hurts, but... No, it's Travis Kelce.
I didn't picture anyone really for him. Oh, you know who I did picture? I kind of had like the vibe of Colton Underwood from The Bachelor. The Gay Bachelor.
The Gay Bachelor that also somehow stalked his ex-girlfriend.
Right. But I had
Colton. Did you hear The Bachelor might get canceled? Yeah, I mean,
the views are down.
ABC put out a list of shows that are coming out in 2026. They're at least putting the show on pause for at least one more season.
Ooh.
But it's crazy because the views were up for Joey.
They were, but
it was just Grant season sucked ass.
So bad. Like, do the math. We need, like, a very likable, you know, man. And the thing is, like, if you want to get a likable man...
Don't let your bachelor put out a song called Party Girls on night one.
Right. Like, you know what? There's a lot of really amazing guys from, like, Katie Thurston's season, Michelle's season. Like, those guys are so top-notch. Why did you not go look there?
I mean, Grant is kind of hot. I'll admit that.
Oh, he's hot, but he
doesn't seem like a very nice
man.
Yeah.
Anyway, so they're having like an amazing couple years living in New York. Like, this situation has worked out so good for them. Frankly, like, John and Harry live in their own apartment. Celia and Evelyn live over here. But nobody can really tell the difference because, like, obviously they're just two couples, and it's like, oh, they're the two, like, it couples hanging out all the time in New York. They're always at dinner together. They're always at the movies together. They're doing everything together, the four of them. So it's like, they're none the wiser, okay?
Someone just slammed their door.
I know, I heard that. Now, there is mention of, like, a lot of the Pride movement kind of coming up in New York at the time, and you kind of see how Celia is a lot more, like you said, comfortable in her sexuality and wanting to, like,
she's like, let's go down there.
Yeah.
Because they do talk about Stonewall. She's like, we should go down there. We should be protesting with them.
Yeah.
And Harry, her husband, and Evelyn are like, no, girl.
No.
Especially because if we go down there, it's suddenly going to be about how we are gay and not about
Yeah, the actual cause, which is definitely a good point. But I also see Celia's like point in being like, I want to be down there, and also like it's good to bring attention to these things, and us being there will bring attention to these things. So it's like I see both sides. But they're like, I think
it's mostly there because yet again Evelyn refuses to go down there.
Yeah.
It's important to realize she even now is not willing to put anything above her career.
Yeah. So, but she's like, you know what? I'll donate though. So they're all like funneling money into all these causes, which is really nice. And everything is really great for a couple years. And then Evelyn does a movie with Don Adler. So this is obviously her first husband. And she's like, God, I'm a little bit like...
And Max is the director.
Right. She's like, I'm a little bit, you know, nervous about this. But, you know, we'll see how it goes. And...
Max tells her that he wants to have a really intimate scene where it's clear that Evelyn's character has an orgasm.
Yeah.
Which, you know what? Yeah, period.
Yeah.
The issue is that she shoots the scene and then goes back to Celia and is like,
is it so cool what if
I had basically had sex with Don Adler on camera? Like, we wouldn't actually be having sex, but it would seem pretty close and I would be mostly nude.
Yeah.
And Celia's like, you know, I love you. I promise I'll spend the rest of my life making up to you, but I can't let you do that.
Yeah.
Because it was already hard enough for me to see you do the movie with him, especially because Don is like the one husband that she really did love at this point.
Yeah. The only other person she's like loved in her life, basically, and actually had like feelings for her. And yeah, I mean, I definitely love the idea of being like, I want to have like a sex scene where a woman is being pleasured and like it's clear that like she is getting what she needs out of it as well. Love that.
Yeah.
But you needed to have this conversation with her beforehand.
Yeah. Also, we forgot to mention this, but it is very important to mention that Harry and Evelyn have a baby named Connor. They have it together, which yet again, Evelyn is kind of cheating on Celia. Celia's more okay with it this time because, you know, they want to have a baby.
Yeah, but she's like,
like,
y'all definitely like fucked like several times. Like you can't just, it's not frequent that it's a one and done like it was with Nicholas. Like y'all fucked. Which I was also like, how would
that's craziness.
Yeah, that's madness. Like how would that, like I can't imagine like,
yeah, because like, do you have a good fuck,
but, like,
or do you just go mechanically?
No, like the mechanics of it all, I was like, huh. But anyway, they have a baby. But at this point, when her and Celia get into this fight, Connor's like maybe 3, 4, like she's older.
Well, and another thing, Celia doesn't like the baby. But Celia's like, I never really wanted to be a mom, and by the way, while you've been off fucking Don Adler, basically, I've been having to watch your baby, and I'm babysitting your baby.
Yeah.
Come get your baby.
Come get your baby. I also want to mention that, like, the parts where, like, she's, you know, after she gave birth and, like, when her and Harry are kind of, like, on their paternity leave, kind of, it's really sweet. Like, the relationship they have together is really, really adorable. And when Celia, like, finally moves back in, she's like, what's going on here? She's like, why is he making you breakfast? Like, I'll take care of it. Like, she's definitely very territorial over her woman.
Yeah, and then she makes her a really gross oatmeal, and Harry and Evelyn are both like, ew. Well,
they're like, oh, okay.
Guess you can't handle it, but okay.
Oh, okay. But anyway, this fight is really bad. And
Celia is biphobic. Sorry, but Celia. I mean, it's important. It's important for her to be biphobic.
Yeah.
Not that she should be, but you know, it's
important to the story.
Yeah, it's important to the story.
Yeah.
Celia is biphobic, and she's like, I'm not doing this with you anymore. And not only does she leave, but she also divorces John. So she's like, yeah, not only am I
don't want to have nothing to do with any of y'all. Like, because I mean, to be fair, like if she stays with John, she's gonna stay in her orbit. Yeah. So she's like, I'm leaving.
Yeah, and she says in the book, she's like, when she served John those divorce papers, she might as well have been divorcing me.
Yeah. It's pretty sad. Now,
back to Monique for a quick second.
Yeah.
David just shows up at her apartment, and she's pissed. Like, she's not even happy to see him. She's like, why is he there?
What the fuck?
God.
Did you bring my table?
No. He's like, no, I didn't bring the table. You know, I think we should just, you know, we shouldn't give up on this. We should work it out.
Yeah.
That is with the enthusiasm that he was giving.
Literally.
And she's like, I don't think we love each other. I think we just don't want to fail at this marriage. And he's like, okay, well, cut yourself. I'm leaving.
No, literally, like, that was a crazy chapter. Yeah. I was like, not you came here to be like, ugh.
Like, you're not even love me.
Right.
You're not even saying all the things you love about me and miss me.
Like, if you were coming here to beg for me back, you need to put in some fucking work. The fuck? He said, I guess we should give it a try. Fuck you! No! But going back to our story, not too long after, maybe it's a couple years, I'm not sure, but eventually John passes away. Very devastating.
Harry never the same.
He's never the same again. He goes into a very, very deep depression. He starts drinking.
He has the espresso martinis.
He does, and he really falls into like alcoholism for a while. I mean, he right here in this point, he's like an alcoholic.
Yeah, he's bedrotting, and the only time he gets out of bed is to make himself another drink.
Yeah, and she's like, honestly, he's like a little bit mean. He's just like not himself. Yeah, and it's very clear. But she's like, I do whatever I can to help him because like obviously I can't imagine like that's the love of his life. Mm-hmm. And she does, however, win an Oscar for the movie that she did with Dawn. So she's like, I guess it was worth it. She's like, she won that. Like, but she mentioned Celia in her speech too when she's giving out her like her acceptance speech, which I thought was cute, but also like I know Celia was somewhere banging her head against the wall. Then Max at the Oscar after party, I'm pretty sure.
They're just like in a limo because Max directed the film, so they were hanging out together. She's like,
oh right. So
he's like, where's Harry? He's gay. And she's like,
what? How could you say such a thing? And he's like, let's blow this fucking Oscar after party and go get some fucking burgers. Mm-hmm. Which I was like, period.
And she's like, no man ever in my entire life has ever offered me a burger.
Yeah. And like,
I remember this one time at homecoming, I just farted again, I'm sorry. One time after homecoming, we walked to McDonald's with my boyfriend and his friends, and at the time I did have an eating disorder, sorry, but I didn't want to eat the McDonald's. At the time, I didn't want to eat the McDonald's nuggets. I just didn't want to do it. Yeah. And he starts, not berating me, but he starts yelling, like, being like, oh, you're really not going to eat the nuggets? At this McDonald's after homecoming.
Oh my God. In front of all those friends?
Yeah, and his friend sits with him. He's like, why don't you leave her the fuck alone? I was like,
that's humiliating.
Yeah, why don't you leave her the fuck alone?
If your boy has to step in and be like, chill out.
If your boy ever has to step in and tell you not to be such a jerk.
Yeah. You're doing too much.
Yes.
You're doing way too fucking much.
He's wronged me too many times at this point. That man hates me. Why does he keep coming around just to tell me, well, I did sleep with his friend. Many times.
Does he even know that though?
I don't know, and I'm not gonna be the one to tell him, that's for damn sure.
Yeah. So
he watches our YouTube videos.
He's like,
he's like, wait.
He's in the comments like, wait, what the fuck?
At least we're getting some engagement.
Yeah. So yeah, he basically is like, he's like, I love you.
Yeah. He's like, leave him, girl, marry me instead. And she's like, well, okay.
Well, at first she's kind of like, I don't know about this. But then she tells Harry, and Harry's like, you should do it. You deserve to be in love and, you know, feel desired. It's been a long time. Yeah. However, me as the listener, I was like, no, don't do it. Because I was like, I just love you and Harry together. You have such a good relationship already. Like, I don't know.
So this can't go well.
I don't know. Like, it just can't go well. I mean, obviously with the hindsight, I know she has 7 husbands, so it's like, clearly it's not going to work out. But, and she does deserve to be with someone else and, you know, all that. But I was like, you guys have such a beautiful, like, coexistence and like friendship, companionship, and I was like, please no, but she does it.
Can never stop a woman from when there's a man that she shouldn't be with, that she wants to be with,
she puts her eyeballs
on him.
There
is no stopping her.
There's no stopping her, no matter what. Like a fucking bomb wouldn't stop her. Literally. So now we're in our Max chapter.
They get married, and literally on their honeymoon, he's like, I thought this would be better.
No, like...
And she's like, okay.
When he said that...
He's basically disillusioned. And what she goes on to explain is that, like, he clearly wanted to marry Evelyn Hugo, of course, a theme
persona.
Throughout the whole book.
The movie star, the persona, the sex pot, you know, that whole thing. And she's like, I really thought that he was seeing me for me and he loved me for me because he was really convincing. Mm-hmm. But it's like the moment they sleep together and wake up the day after their fucking...
on their fucking honeymoon.
He's like, ugh, can we leave the desert? I don't really want to be here anymore. Let's go back to the city. I felt this would be like better. I don't know.
And she's like trying to like keep some semblance of the relationship.
Yeah,
she's like, no way.
Yeah.
And then they're on the fucking plane, and he's like, do you think all these people are gonna tell their friends that they were on a plane ride with Evelyn Hugo? And she was like, I knew right then and there it was not gonna work.
Yeah, it was like my heart,
But alas.
the last shred of my heart exploded when he said that. Because it's like, obviously, of course. It's so heartbreaking. It's like, I can't even imagine that. It's like, and now we're married, dude. You don't have to give me another fucking name on my roster. Now I have 6 husbands.
God damn it.
Dude. Like, shit. So, now for the next couple years, she's just kind of like, we're married and like, it is what it is. Like, she just kind of lets him do what he needs to do. He lets her do what they need to do. And she's kind of like okay with just being in this marriage because she's in it. And however,
she's watching the Oscars one night where Celia wins again. I can't imagine how much that must suck for her a little bit. A little bit,
yeah. She's like, why does Celia have 16 Oscars?
Yeah, she's so many. And she's like, in case anybody out there is watching, please don't chip your tooth. And Evelyn is like, oh my god.
She's like, wait, she's thinking about me. No, her email is open.
Yeah.
Her email is open. So she like immediately writes her a letter.
Yeah, they start writing love letters to each other again.
Yeah.
And Celia's like, come visit me. Let's just get lunch or whatever.
Yeah, what if we hung out just like as friends? And she's like, I'm on the next plane.
Yeah.
I'm on the plane.
Yeah.
And so
I've been on the plane for 2 hours actually.
Yeah, I'm already here.
Yeah.
So she is on the way out the door, like, should I bring my letters? Should I not bring my letters? Because she's like, I don't know if I want to like, if things don't go, if things don't go well with Celia and I'm on the flight back, I know I'm gonna need these with me to like, you know, commiserate over. Which I was like, that is so real. She's like, I need the comfort of reading these letters on the flight home. Hilarious. Been there.
She's like, fuck it. I'll go back inside and get the letters. Who is sprawled out? How did he find these?
He was asleep in the bed, by the way.
Like, so fast.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, he's up and in the closet saying you're having an affair.
She hid them behind her, like, underwear drawer or something. Like, how did he find them so quickly?
Not only that, but he's homophobic about it, of course.
So homophobic about it.
Of course.
My
and
God.
he's like, you could have at least had, like, a good affair on me. Like, as in, not with a woman. I don't mind getting cheated on as long as it's done appropriately. And she's like, are you fucking kidding me?
So you've been cheating on me? And she's like, oh, you've been cheating on me.
What's crazy is that I actually haven't even been cheating on you.
Yeah. She's like, that's actually madness. I was not cheating on you. Okay, emotionally, yes.
But to be fair,
clearly you've been cheating on me, and he's that's it, plain and simple. And also, he keeps throwing out a slur.
Yeah,
So,
we're not gonna say it.
No, but he keeps throwing out a slur, and it's just like he's being so awful. And she's like, you know what, girl, I'm going. I don't know, I'm going.
You know what? Whatever. And
Yeah.
he's like, if you leave me, I'm gonna out you. And she's like, fucking at this point, do it. I don't give a fuck. The
Yeah.
love of my life is waiting for me.
I'm going.
By the way, get out of my house.
Yeah. I was so proud of her for standing on business in that moment. And I actually wanted like a missile to fall on his head. Like, fuck that man.
And she did, there is a good line in here that I really liked. It was something along the lines of like, I wonder if women are ever truly safe from women like Dawn and Max. And I'm like,
yeah.
no matter how beautiful you are, no matter how successful, smart, talented, whatever the case may be, a man will always wrong you.
Yeah.
A man that is uglier than you, less successul than you, less talented than you.
Yeah. It's really scary. It's a scary idea, especially like for women, girls our age who are like, you know, fantasizing about like who they're going to be with and what the future holds for them and intimacy and all those things. Like, it's really disheartening and scary to be like,
to watch stuff like this happen.
Yeah, because this is not just fiction.
This is not,
you know,
this
is stuff that happens all the fucking time, and it's really disappointing and sad.
But she tells Celia about it, and she's like, I don't give a fuck if he outs me at this point because I love you, and this is what I want.
Yeah.
And she's like, well, no, we're not gonna do that because we're not gonna let him do that to you. Period. And she's like, what we'll do is we'll have you fake an affair with a young senator, and then people will think that he's so jealous and pissed off, they won't believe a word out of his damn mouth.
It so works.
And it works so easily.
So easily. First of all, I love the way she came up with this whole plot.
Just to make him suffer.
Plot, just to make him suffer. Yeah, she was like, I have a friend who owes me a favor. He's like 15 and he's a senator. And so, yeah, it works. It works amazingly. He is in the press, besmirching her name, being like, she's gay, she cheated on me, like all this stuff. And like,
Nobody gives a fuck.
No, everyone's like, dude, shut up.
He's literally just bitter because she cheated on him with a younger man.
Yeah.
Oh, it really sucks to be you.
Oops.
But Celia's also like, on a serious note,
Yeah.
I am dying. I do have cancer, so let's move to Spain, spend the rest of our lives together, and you're also gonna marry my brother, so that way you can get all of my houses and money and whatever else she wants to give her.
Yeah.
When I die, because I'm dying.
Yeah.
I'm dying, assuredly.
Yeah. And Evelyn's like, wait, what the fuck? Okay. So, yes, we're gonna move to Europe, and we're gonna move now. So she calls Harry, and she's like, we're moving to Europe, babe.
And Harry's like, no.
But
then Harry's like, wait, yes, but here's the condition. You're gonna have to marry my lover, and then I'll come with you.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'm not going.
Yeah. And she's like, your lover? Wait, since when do you have a lover? And he's like, yeah, I met someone.
And she's like, good for you, but also, no, I'm done hiding. I want to live with Celia when we move there.
Yeah. And they have several big arguments about this. And
because remember, they have Connor, so it actually does matter.
Yeah.
And not only that, but they're best friends.
Yeah.
Be apart.
Yeah, and he's like, listen, also like on a really serious note, that you're like gonna be like taking our daughter, moving her across the globe, like it's a whole thing. Like we have to think about these things. Like it's not just you that you're thinking about here, it's our daughter and me.
Yeah.
So, you know, this is something to talk about. And they have like a huge fight, but after they have a fight about it, this one night, they basically kind of are like, listen, you're my best friend, I love you, like we'll figure this out, like it'll be okay, like we're gonna work it out so that we can both like have our happy ending, you know? And then that night she gets picked up by her driving service, and she's like on the way to the airport, and she's supposed to pick Harry up from his house. On the way into where his house is, an
huge car accident.
Awful scene. Huge car accident. Her and the driver get out of the car, run up there, and see that it's Harry, and see another man in the car as well. And she's like, so that must be his lover.
He's dead.
Yeah. The lover is dead. And they managed to pull Harry out of the car. And she's like, this scene was very, like, traumatizing and devastating. Like, I can't even imagine that. I can't imagine it. They managed to get him, they call 911, they get him to the hospital, and he unfortunately dies in the hospital.
But it is important to note that they did drag the lover, so the man in the passenger seat, they drug him into the driver's seat to make it look like Harry was never there.
Yeah, and
there was also a note in Harry's pocket, I believe, or in the man's pocket, basically explaining that he's never going to leave his wife for Harry, and even though he loves Harry in a way that he's never going to love anybody else, that he loves his wife and he's not planning on leaving her.
Yeah.
He loves her in like a friendship way, and he would always miss her, and he's not going to leave her. So she takes the note as well.
Yeah.
And
in her mind, she's like, the thing is, like, immediately my thought process was like, okay, I have to do damage control here. Like, he wasn't even thinking about like, okay, let's just call 911. She was like, I have to do damage control for like his image. Like, he'd want me to do this. So she gets into action. She enlists the driver to help her with all of this.
Yeah.
After they get to the hospital, she's like, hey babe, like, listen, you're not telling anyone about this. I will give you anything you want.
Yeah.
And he's like, you gotta make me famous, girl. And she's like, okay.
Sure. And then I did like, she later was like, I actually kind of liked his movies later. But that's
I know. She said, shit was kind of good, actually. It's fire. Like,
that's neither here nor there. But it kind of was pretty good. It was pretty good, actually.
She's like, did you see After? He was really good in that. But it's devastating that Harry passes away. Like, really sad. Bitch, I was about to shed a tear. Like, I was really sad.
I actually read this, the first time I read this, I was doing my Disney college program, and I was flying home to come get Peach, after I had, like, moved in and everything, and I was flying home to come get her. I was shedding tears on the plane. Can you imagine living in Disney World and reading that book? What an insane sentence that I just said out loud. Like,
no, but seriously, it's like heartbreaking. Like, and that's the tell of a good book. Like, you feeling these emotions so viscerally that like you're reduced to tears. Like, that's a great book right there. And so, of course, she has to break the news to Connor.
Yeah, Connor starts acting up, and there's like a little snippet of a blind item being like,
whose celebrity daughter is caught in a threesome?
She's 14.
14! A threesome?
Well, also, if I'm you're really telling the press about that?
No, that's actually crazy.
You horrible person.
Horrible.
She's 14 and her dad just died.
Yeah.
Anyways,
All
they
around.
all moved to Spain.
Yeah.
Celia's brother, Connor, and Evelyn.
Yeah.
And Evelyn gets to watch Connor, figure herself out, like off the streets of New York City, where she was for show getting cocaine.
No, she was like doing drugs.
She was living the Jenny Humphrey lifestyle in that moment.
She was Jenny Humphrey season 2, like bad.
Yeah.
And she comes out of it like amazingly on the other side, and also like she develops an amazing relationship with Celia's brother, who's like basically her stepdad now. Mm-hmm. They end up having like a really beautiful relationship together. And she was like, I could tell that like, I mean, he was just there for the rigmarole of it all. Like he was just there, and he was like doing his own thing. He was meeting bitches. He was having fun. But she was also like, I see that he agreed to this also because he was like, this is kind of my one chance to have a family, like an actual family. And I don't know, the situation just kind of worked out for everyone involved. Mm-hmm. Now, at a certain point, Connor gets into Yale, Harvard, something, a great school. And she goes back to the States for college. And Celia and Evelyn stay behind in Spain for, the remainder of their time together. There's a really cute scene where, like, they get married and have, like, married in their bed. And, like, it's really, really sweet. They, like, do their vows and everything. It's a really, really beautiful scene of just them being like, her being like, listen, even if we don't have to like go to a courthouse to get married, we can say we're married and we're married. Like, you can be my wife without having to have the papers of it all, I thought that was really, really sweet.
This book is so devastating.
Yeah, because
Celia passes.
Yeah.
And then a few years down the line, her daughter gets cancer and she passes.
Yeah.
And Evelyn's story kind of wraps up there, and she's kind of like, would you believe this is how my story comes to a close? All that money, all that success, and what do I have left to show for it?
Everyone I've ever loved has passed away. First Harry, then Celia, then
and John,
Celia's brother, and my daughter. Mm-hmm. She's like, the fact that my daughter got cancer and passed away is like heartbreaking. And the thing is too, like, throughout the whole book, Monique is like, so when am I supposed to be releasing this book, Queen? Because like, what's the timeline here? And she, at this point, is like, finally after she wraps up everything, she's like, I do also have cancer.
I'm not planning on fighting it.
I'm not planning on fighting it. It's kind of devastating that like, you would think that the mom would pass away from cancer before the daughter does, but here I am. And that really made me so sad too. Like, I can't imagine watching everyone that you love go, and then it's like, really like, what do I have to show for it? And at this point now, Monique is still like, I still don't know why you requested me for this.
Yeah.
And she's like, okay, well, this is the part where I tell you.
She's like, Queen, I have some bad news and you're gonna hate me. And I want you to make it really clear in my book that I am not a good person. I'm not pretending to be, and I don't want people to think that I am.
Yeah.
And Monique is like, but you don't seem that bad, girl. And
no, like Monique is like softened to her so much.
She's like, well, I have some bad news. So that was your dad that night. He was the one that passed in the car accident. And Monique is like, wait. Because not only is this horrible news to hear that your dad died in such a traumatic way, but also she'd gone her whole life thinking that her dad was drunk behind the wheel and crashed. Basically, there's a lot of emotions that come with something like that. Like, there is a certain anger of why would you do that when you know that's, you can't do that. But nobody wants to be angry at their dad for that. And so she's had to come to terms with the fact that she's been holding on to a lot of anger towards her dad.
Yeah.
For
no reason.
But she's also learning that her dad was gay this whole time. But that's also a weird thing to come to terms with.
Yeah, to find out. And it's like, you're not even hearing it from him. There's no way to talk to him about it. You're like, what kind of relationship then did my parents have? Because I thought it was romantic the whole time. That's a lot bubbling to the surface. But she's like, I wanted to tell you this because I found that note in Harry or his pocket, and he also says in that note that obviously he doesn't want to leave his wife and he loves her so much, but that he would never leave you, and that he adores his daughter, and like, she's the most important thing in his life, and he's never gonna like leave her ever. And she's like, I just wanted you to know that. And she's like,
so Monique is very angry. Monique
very upset.
Has some choice words for her, but she goes home, and Evelyn is like, I hope you'll come back for the photo shoot tomorrow, and we can have a proper goodbye before
we part our ways.
No, before I kill myself.
Well, yeah.
That's what she's saying.
That's what she's saying, but Monique doesn't know that yet.
Oh, you don't think?
She doesn't know that until after the photo shoot, when her,
Well, Monique does sort of forgive her, and they have a nice goodbye, and then...
Yeah, well, they have the photo shoot, they actually take a photo together, and it's a nice day. And then she also, Evelyn has, like, a housekeeper, and she's sending her on, like, this, like, a really nice European vacation. And she's like, yeah, you know, go have fun. It's going to be amazing. Have the greatest time ever. And she's like, are you sure you don't want me to stay and help clean up? And she's like, no, don't worry about it. And in that moment, Monique is like, oh, she's going to kill herself. She realizes, because she's like, she's not really making any plans to, like, you know, have her come back. And the whole way home, after they have a nice goodbye, but the whole way home, she's like,
what do I do?
What do I do? Because I just realized now that Evelyn is going to, you know...
But is it really fair to call the police on her and have them intervene and have her die suffering?
Yeah, this is what she wants. Should I intervene? But I also know this, and it's kind of wrong not to intervene. I don't know what to do. She stands on the subway platform for a long time before she realizes, oh, I'm on the way home. I decided that I'm going to let her do what she wants to do. So there's then like another newspaper clipping in the book that announces that Evelyn has passed. And yeah, it's really, I don't know.
That's kind of how the story wraps up.
Yeah. I mean, it was a really sad, like, I did not expect it to go this way at all. I will say, like, I don't know what my expectations were for, like, the storyline, frankly. I really had not. I knew it was going to be about, like, a movie star. She has 7 husbands. But I don't know. I just never expected it to be such an emotional and, like... It had a lot of depth.
Yeah.
There was so much depth
and
to the
it's so
story.
romantic.
Yeah. It's so romantic. There's so much commentary and depth on, like, a number of topics. And... I don't know. It was really, really good. Like, I'm so happy you had us read this. I loved it. I think you can tell I gave it a 5 out of 5.
Yeah, this is an obvious 5 out of 5 for me.
Yeah.
I've read it 3 times. I will probably read it a 4th. I'm sure one day eventually. Yeah, as sad as the ending is, I don't know. Maybe I'll start reading the ending because I don't know. Those early chapters are so entertaining,
dude. So I was listening on audiobook,
and also you will probably never hear me say these words ever again. The audiobook of this was fantastic.
So good. That's what I'm saying. It was so good.
Yeah.
I feel like frequently I come on here and I'm like, the audiobook was ass. This audiobook was so good. It felt like I was literally listening to like
her tell the story.
Yeah, it was so I was so enthralled and invigorated the entire time. I was like on the edge of my seat. But I'm also excited now to have got the hard copy because I feel like my next read I'm gonna actually like read it. But the audio, I highly recommend. The audiobook was so good. Like, do yourself a favor if you have not listened to it. If you're gonna give it a second.
Even if you've read it, yeah. Even if you've already read it.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's safe to say yours is a 5 out of 5, of course.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah. Yes. And I think, I mean, at the end, she releases her book, right?
Yeah.
Monique. She releases the book.
Sure.
She puts out a little excerpt in Vivant, basically saying, like, I'm going to be putting out a book about Evelyn. I did this whole interview with her, but I'll give you a little sneak peek into... And she then reveals that Evelyn was a bisexual woman. And she gets Evelyn's permission to, like, you know, tell the world. Evelyn's like, yeah, girl, I want you to.
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah.
And I think it was also nice, too, that at the beginning of the story, she's like, wait, you had 7 husbands. Like, who was the love of your life? And the entire time, she's like, girl, we'll get there. And then finally at the end, she's like, the love of my life was obviously Celia St. James. And, like, she reveals that in her Vivant piece. And she's like, she was a bisexual woman, and Celia St. James was the love of her life. And I love that it got to wrap up that way.
I also love the idea of, like, this smart, talented, like, woman who I feel like everybody, like, was obsessed with her and men her whole life, right under your damn noses. You didn't even know about it.
Yeah, not a clue. Yeah. Both of them, like, and they were, I don't know, it's beautiful, because, like, the obsession everyone had with, like, oh, her husband's, whatever, is, like, you had no clue what was going on behind closed doors. And you know what? That is good commentary, too, about celebrity culture and, like,
And unfortunately, I love celebrity culture.
Oh, me too. Like, but
if I was an Evelyn Hugo stan back in the 60s, I would have been eating up the gossip.
Oh, like I would have had the Style Stilinski like murder board with the husbands and her like it was. But it does say something about like our what is it called when you have like a weird like a
parasocial relationships.
Thank you. Yeah, parasocial relationships people have with celebrities. Like you don't know them and you don't know what's going on with them. Mm-hmm. But anyway, I did love that.
Unless you're me, in which case you always have the right opinion about celebrities.
Of course, yeah. I love the way it wrapped up in that, like, she was finally able to live her truth, I guess, in the end. So, yeah.
Next week, we're going to be reading First Time Caller by B.K. Borison. And yes, we will actually be back next week.
Yeah.
We hope. We think. As of right
if
now,
all goes well.
That's our plan.
Yeah, that's our plan.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you want to be able to follow along with us on the episode, go ahead and read that.
Go ahead and join our book club. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button and like this video. Guys, I can't express to you how much I want to quit my job. I would actually love to try being an influencer for a day.
Keep talking about it. Like, I would like to try. Let me try.
We'll see you guys next week.
Yeah. Bye.